Welcome to Trashy Divorces.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back for another week of finely curated trash candy. This week, we've got an Uptown girl for you.
Yeah, we do.
We're talking about the 4-time divorcee, beautiful sunbeam, has halos and everything, the lovely, creative, talented Christie Brinkley.
Awesome parent, too. We're
awesome mom.
pretty sure, yeah.
For sure. 4 up, 4 down.
Yeah, she's got a bad picker, but, I mean, she's got a great heart, we think.
Such a good story. Before we get to that, I want to give a little bit of detail on the song Uptown Girl. According to an interview that Billy Joel did with Howard Stern, the song actually is conceived when he's in St. Barts playing piano, sitting by Billy Joel's then-girlfriend Elle Macpherson. Christie Brinkley walks in. Whitney Houston is there, and he starts this song, Uptown Girls. Naturally, Christie Brinkley, of course, says, it's about me.
Right.
I was in the video.
Right.
However, Billy Joel has got to have a certain amount of stuff in order to date back-to-back Elle Macpherson and Christie Brinkley.
It does raise some questions about the not supermodel named Billy Joel. I mean, I don't know.
It's interesting, right?
Must have a great personality.
Uptown Girl was off of Billy's An Innocent Man album, and it kind of gave everybody a shot because Billy's so happy and in love. That was a really good album.
All right, Alicia, let's shift over to Patreon this week where we had a big week.
Oh, we did have a big week.
Many new people have joined us there to hear things like JFK assassination stuff.
Ooh, what? It was JFK Spiderweb Week. Tuesday, we covered the Everything episode of Mary Pinchot Meyer. Wednesday, for Side Chick, the story of Judith Very Baker, Lee Harvey Oswald's mistress. God, it was so good.
And all of you get to hear me feel very awkward as I listen to these stories.
They're so good.
Do you want to kick off our magic mirror?
I totally do, with
Awesome.
much fanfare, gratitude, and thanks. We had a whole bunch of new people join us this week. Sandra E., Roseanne O., Diane T., Cheryl J., McLean A., Eliza W.
We also have Meg B., Laura Rebecca, Dana, Susan H., who is actually my auntie from another mother, and also hello, Matt, and Stephanie S., and late edition, Donna's Craft Podcast has joined the Magic Mirror.
I've got to check out Donna's Crafty Podcast.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds like it's right up my alley.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone.
For sure. We are so thrilled that you've joined us over there, and we are so happy to be putting really fun, sometimes adjacent stuff over there for you, so we hope you enjoy.
If y'all are interested in hearing your name in the Magic Mirror,
Patreon.com/trashydivorces.
That's exactly right. What she said. And pick up on hours of extra bonus content a week in a million different trash candy threads that, so good. All right. You about ready to...
I am so ready for the sunbeams and heartache that is Christie Brinkley.
Let's make it work.
Let's go, go, go.
Do it.
All right, Alicia. So you got
2 up of the 4.
2 up of the 4.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Christy Lee Hudson. Born February 2nd, 1954. She's an Aquarius gal.
I was going to say Pisces.
No, of course she's an Aquarius. She's all dreamy and kind, and she became a vegetarian at 13 and convinced her whole family.
She got her family to... Yeah, I was surprised.
Of course she's an Aquarius. Christy's born in Michigan, but her family moves to sunny California.
Like you do.
When she's young, she grows up in L.A. Her parents divorce, and her mom remarries a TV writer, which moves the family out to Malibu and Brentwood. Christy attends Le Lycée Français de Los Angeles. During high school, she's a Francophile, lover of all things French. She loves art and French.
So not a James Francophile, because that would be weird. Just into French stuff.
Into French stuff.
Okay, not James Franco.
Christy graduates high school in 1972, and like you do, moves to Paris to study art.
May as well.
I mean, that's the dream. I mean, she's a very talented artist, and she's been to French school, so of course you're going to go to Paris and live the dream.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, Paris is actually where the modeling thing happens. In 1973, Christie is spotted in a post office in Paris. And you can't make it up.
Nope.
Introduced to John Casablanca, who gets her to Elite, who she meets with, and by the end of that lunch, she has been booked for 3 national campaigns. And a model is born.
Yep.
Christie finds it kind of hilarious. She's like, I'm a surfer girl from California, not a model. But okay. She's 19. Also when she's 19, 1973, it's a big year for love. Christie meets and marries her first husband. He is a French artist, Jean-Francois Allot. Jean-Francois was born in Morocco. After Moroccan independence, he moves to France and then on to the U.S. in 1975. He and Christie marry in 73. He is super handsome.
I'm sure.
Distinguished international man. It's hard to get a scope on what happened. It seems like their careers were definitely diverting. She's traveling all the time for shoots. He is literally a very talented cartographer and illustrator.
Oh, interesting. He's a map maker. That's interesting.
Yeah. He studies at École Nationale Supérieure de Beaux-Arts and at the Sorbonne.
And is he older? Because she's quite young at the time. Are they the same age or is he older?
I think he's a little bit older.
Okay.
Allot, actually, this is what I really thought was interesting, is a founding member of INX, which is the premier editorial illustration service that since 1980 has provided journals of opinion worldwide easy access to the best in pointed political art. Christie and Jean-Francois divorce in 1981. No kids.
So 8 years of marriage?
8 years of marriage. Okay. Jean-Francois, currently right now, and since 1999, has been an assistant professor at the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth.
Oh.
He's still very handsome.
Oh, you've been stalking. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Super handsome. But 9 years of marriage, the French dream took a turn and ends in 1981. No
sure.
kids.
Her career blew up, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm sure that it was just their lives were radically different
For sure. Yeah.
by the end than they were at the beginning.
He's got to make the map. She's got to do the model.
She will chart her own course. Thank you.
By 1982, Christie is dating Olivier Chandon de Brels. He is the heir to the Moet and Chandon fortune.
Right.
He is also a race car driver and
They
super
all
handsome. He's
are.
like international jet set dude.
Yeah. All of these people.
They start dating in 1982. He's hot off the heels of dating Andy McDowell, believe it or not. Olivier and Christie meet at Studio 54 in New York City and are smitten. And they date until saddest thing ever. He is in a preseason car race because, international race car driver. Super tragically, everything's going great. Christie's heading out to meet him that night in Palm Beach.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Olivier is practicing on a racetrack that day, crashes through the gate. His car ends up upside down in a canal where he drowns before he can be saved.
Oh, that is super tragic.
Christie is devastated, naturally. We're going to leave poor broken-hearted Christie Brinkley on the depot.
Sure.
On the Trashy Divorces train depot.
Right. Sitting on the platform.
Head
in hands.
Crying. And we're going to pick her back up in a minute.
Okay.
Now let's talk about William Martin Joel. Billy.
Billy Joel. Gotcha.
Billy. Hubby number 2. Born May 9th, 1949. He's a Taurus boy.
Okay.
It is highly unusual for an Aquarius and a Taurus to work. Like, it's not a relationship that they're going to be drawn to. It's interesting when it does. Like, it can be super great, but it's just not one that follows naturally. I do not have the times of their birth, so I cannot determine rising signs.
Well, right, because ironically, though the marriage did not last forever, they've had a lifelong, very positive relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think there's got to be a different compatible Mooner rising, but
I think she's
I
just
digress.
made of sunbeams, having
She's
spent a few days
marshmallows
reading about her.
yeah.
And there are a bunch of other ex-husbands who will attest differently, but,
Yeah, I can attest in my research she's made of sunbeams.
Okay.
She's just delightful.
Okay. This is our conflict-free trashy divorces, but not really.
Not really. I think you have the
Yeah,
conflict.
I do.
I did the happy divorces, if there's ever such a thing. Okay. Billy Joel, May 9th. He's a tourist boy. Billy is the son of 2 New York Jewish immigrants. He has an older sister. They live in Levittown in Hicksville, New York. And it turns out the kid has an aptitude for piano. It's not a big surprise. His dad is in love with classical European music.
So he's a piano boy?
He is a piano boy.
Not a pony boy.
Nope, piano boy. And Dad's like, hey, if he's going to play it, let's teach him how to play it right. So he starts getting piano lessons at 4. And Dad was born in Europe. And when Billy's not quite 10, Dad has decided that he has had enough of America. He thinks America has not one bit of culture and decides he's going to leave America and the wife and the 2 kids can remain behind.
Okay, odd flex, but...
So Billy is now from the only family with a divorce in the neighborhood.
Seriously?
Yep.
Oh my
So it's
God.
a big old stigma in Levittown. Mom's struggling,
Mm-hmm.
but she continues with Billy's piano lessons, which are taken at a ballet school because that's where the piano is, right? But Billy's getting bullied on the way down to the ballet studio for his lessons because, he's walking with piano books and
Right.
Billy's like, all right, I mean, get beat or join them. So Billy becomes like a tough guy and he's running with the fast crowd and he's
Can actually see
smoking
that,
and
yeah.
drinking and I don't know, kicking over trash cans or whatever else you do as a juvenile delinquent in
Levittown,
1950. Yeah. Billy also learns to box. He has 26 bouts in his time as a boxer. His record is 22-4. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
He's pretty tough. But it's really music for him. And right now, at the time, like the Beatles are breaking through. And Billy Joel sees them and he's like, psh, I want to do what they do.
Yeah.
So at 15, Billy and his friends make a band playing Beatles cover tunes. And they play this gig and the girls are looking at him. He's like, this isn't bad. And at the end of the gig, the priest comes over and gives $5 a piece to every guy in the band. And Billy is hooked. Music and girls.
Oh, yeah.
I love this. They call the band the Lost Souls, which to me is kind of hilarious because Billy, who's born in a Jewish family, grows up Catholic. The Lost Souls. He's a bunch of Jewish kids growing up Catholic in fucking Levittown in their Beatles cover band. It just made me laugh. So by the time Billy's 16, he is persuaded to join as the keyboard player for this local band. So Billy's playing like 3-4 nights a week, and he's not too concerned about making it to school all the time.
I'm not surprised.
I mean, he's sleeping in. He's truant a lot.
Right.
He goes all the way through school, but the school is like, no, we're not going to graduate you. You've missed too many days. Ironically enough, they do graduate him. They will grant him a degree 25 years later.
I was going to say, I remember when he got an honorary degree from a university or something.
Oh,
and it
he's
was-
got like 7
Right.
honorary doctorates of music,
Yeah.
but he finally gets his high school diploma. And he's like 47 or something. Anyway, doesn't matter. Billy has musical plans, and it's 1968, and he's a high school dropout playing with the local band that is never going any further than Long Island.
Yeah.
It's groovy. The band implodes, and one of the dudes in the band, John Small, and Billy decide they're going to make a heavy metal organ duo. They call themselves Attila. They want to be like Led Zeppelin.
Sure.
They're bad.
Attila the Fun.
Attila the Fun. Billy, in starting up the band, moves in with John and his wife, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, always a woman, sharp, directive, beautiful. And Elizabeth starts to confide in Billy about the problems she and John are having in their relationship, and their marriage is crumbling, and you know what happens.
Is Billy Joel a homewrecker?
Billy Joel and Elizabeth begin to have an affair.
Yikes.
Billy's consumed by guilt.
Oh,
It's his best friend's girl, right?
That's good.
He's consumed by guilt, and he wants to come clean to John, and Elizabeth is like, if you do that, I'm done with the both of you. Stupid. Don't, Elizabeth does throw him out. And Billy is sleeping in the 24-hour laundromat. He is working landscaping gigs. He is doing some oyster shucking as well, which the other oyster shuckers are like, hey, piano boy, how are those fingers treating you, right? Like they're kind of jerks.
Yeah.
Worse for Billy, he does attempt suicide. And it's so sad. He drinks furniture polish, and he says he thought it would taste better than the bleach. He is found before he dies. He's in the hospital for a while. And he calls his manager, this dude named Major, and he's like, you got to get me out of here. These people are crazy. So his manager dude dresses up as a doctor, bluffs his way into the hospital, and gets Billy released.
These are different times.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope.
Different times.
Okay.
Yeah, this is early 70s. The future's still bleak, but Billy's luck is about to change because his manager has a brother who's an art director for a record label. And Major's playing Billy songs for him one day, and the dude who has produced Woodstock walks by and pops his head in like, hey, that's not my thing, but I know a guy whose thing that is. Can I get one of those tapes? And that guy is a guy named Artie Ripp. Artie Ripp has produced a lot of people, notably the Shangri-Las, and Artie loves Billy and signs him, sight unseen. He's a record guy, and he's like, here's a contract, kid. And of course, Billy, seeing the manifestation of all of his dreams come true, doesn't read any bit of that contract. He wants to make music and be with Elizabeth. She's now divorced from John, and he can have a contract and get money and have a place for he and Elizabeth, and everything's coming up roses. They move in together. He's writing and arranging and working on becoming Billy Joel. They head on out to LA to record his first album, he and Elizabeth. But his first album doesn't break him out the way it is supposed to. The whole thing is recorded, but the tape recorder was running slow. So on the printed version of the album that nobody catches, they still print anyway, Billy Joel sounds like he's a member of Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
So this album is out.
Bombs.
This album is not going to make him a star.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Billy's furious.
I would think.
And
I'm sure the label's furious. They spent all this money pressing this record. And
right. And his manager's like, listen, okay, here's the deal. You got to see Billy live. And somehow his manager talks Artie Ripp into giving them a blank checkbook so they can take Billy on the road to claim his musical legacy. He's a no-name act. But Billy's doing it, by God. He's opening for the Doobie Brothers. He opens for the Jay Giles Band. He goes to Europe and is the talk of Europe. Like, people love him, and he is slowly building up his live thing. Okay, it's about to take another twist because on one of these jaunts, a radio station in Philly, WMMR or something, does a live session with Billy one day. And Billy in that session plays the song Captain Jack. Leaves, doesn't think a thing about it. But as they're airing that, Captain Jack becomes the most requested song on that radio station.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. They're playing it a lot because it's the most requested song, and Clive Davis hears that song. Clive Davis, who's produced Janis Joplin and Bruce Springsteen, soon to produce Whitney Houston. All the names, just let that simmer.
Yeah.
Billy doesn't know about this yet. His tour is over. The album is not selling. He is currently going by the name Bill Martin, playing piano from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. at a piano bar in LA. LA really isn't a pub culture.
Right.
So there's a pretty lively crew there that assembles every night. And Billy's going to write the song Piano Man about that experience one day. He's like, this sucks, but I at least got to get a song out of this. True story. And he does. So Clive Davis, right, talks to his A&R guy. A&R guy goes out to find, Billy Joel.
Bill Martin or whatever.
Yeah, and Columbia wants to sign him, but there's a snag. Artie Ripp, that old manager with that blank checkbook fiasco thing, has spent $250,000, $350,000. And this is 70s money.
Right. Oh, wow.
So Columbia wants to sign Billy, but Artie's like, hey, you're
reimbursement.
Yeah. So Major makes a really shitty deal. So when the deal is done, Artie Ripp is going to make 25 cents off of every dollar that the first 10 Billy Joel albums accumulate.
Whoa.
Yep.
Wow. That
25% of your first 10 albums. You're not even on album fucking 2 yet.
Yeah.
And I own your 25% of you for the next night.
No, that's
crazy.
Yeah.
Artie definitely got his money back on that one. Billy fires Major, feeling like he sold him out. So by 1975...
Yeah, it sounds like that was the right choice there.
Yeah. By 1975, Billy and Elizabeth have married, and he decides that he's going to make his wife Elizabeth his manager. And they hit the scene. He breaks through. Like, after a number of albums, there's solo, like, session stuff. And he's like, no, I need a band. But he's, like, steadily breaking through. And it's going great for a long while. Until it's not. Because the marriage becomes much more like a business than a marriage. And it's taking a toll on the love affair. Billy's like, all right, how do I help this? And he hires Elizabeth's brother, Frank, to help out. I can trust him. He's family. And it's albums and live shows, album after album. April 1982, Billy is on his motorcycle and he is hit by a car running a red light when he has right-of-way.
Okay.
Surgeons are able to...
Oh, boy.
Surgeons are able to save his hand, but he will have pins and months of physical therapy. Elizabeth and Billy do divorce, and it's the end of 1982. Billy needs a little vacation, a little island getaway, recovering. He's also dating Elle Macpherson at the time, so things are okay. Now, we're going to go back to the Trashy Divorces train depot this week.
Yes.
It belongs in St. Barts, and it's time to bring these two crazy kids together. So, St. Barts, Christie's there. She's about to shoot Sports Illustrated. Like, she's just staying down there because at the current time, she has so many shoots down there. She's like, I'll just hang out here for a few months, as opposed to traveling.
Yeah, no, I mean, tropical islands are just an awful place to...
In the wintertime?
Pass some time.
It's really super shitty.
But, I mean, she's a brave woman, and she put up with it, so...
Just full of sunbeams. Just bravo. Brave sunbeams. So, she pops in the bar in the place that she's staying, and, like, who's that guy on piano? But her friend Elle Macpherson's there. Whitney Houston's there, and
not yet famous, but yeah, Whitney Houston's vacation
because of Clive Davis. Like everybody's, okay. And Billy Joel is playing piano. He is ridiculously sunburnt and drinking frou-frou cocktails.
Perfect.
That's how Christie describes it.
Perfect.
Christie doesn't really know who he is because she's lived in Paris so long that he's a dude playing piano at the bar. Like, okay, cool, but they end up hitting it off and laughing and talking all night. And he's like, call me when you're back in New York. I'm staying at the San Moritz. So Christie, calls the San Moritz when she gets back to New York. And they're like, there is no Billy Joel there. Billy Joel is totally there, but he has an alias. So in this time, he's run through a series of names that have all started with Al. So Alibi, Alimony, I'll be down to get you in a taxi. Like, whatever. He changes it every week, but they're all Al-centered.
Right.
And they're instructed, unless you have this code name, like, you don't get connected to Billy Joel.
Sure.
And Christie Brinkley is like, Jesus Christ, he told me to call him. Like, if Billy Joel is staying there, could you please give him a message from Christie Brinkley, 555.
My name is Christie Brinkley.
Exactly. I guess Christie Brinkley has enough cachet to get that message run up to the
I think by then she does,
penthouse. So the same day, like, Billy's calling her. They're talking on the phone a lot. They go out for dinner. They're getting closer. He is rediscovering romance. Like, Elizabeth has burned him, and he feels like a teenager again. Hence, 1983's An Innocent Man, which is, like, the happiest album ever. Like, nobody's used to Billy Joel, like, doing happy music, but there you go. Soon, Christie is appearing in his Uptown Girl video. They marry March the 23rd in 1985 on a ship in New York Harbor. And you've got this, grubby rocker and this glamorous model. And
it was always an odd pairing visually. I mean, no shade on anybody, but, like, she is a supermodel and he is a musician.
That dude has got to have some legit charm. He was dating Elle Macpherson before Christie Brinkley.
Yeah, he's got some personality and
he's never had a problem with girls.
Yeah.
And I think probably has to be charismatic AF. I mean, I've seen him live. That was the first concert I ever went to by myself. My best friend and I took her mom's minivan and went to the Omni, like 1987. Let's see Billy Joel. Okay, not important. They marry. Grubby rocker, glam model. 9 months later, their daughter Alexa Ray is born in December of 1985. Kind of found this interesting. Christie says she never gave any thought to her career during pregnancy. I had a healthy pregnancy. Like, my health was my concern. I was so excited to bring Alexa into the world. And it's kind of interesting. Christie loves being pregnant. She thinks it's the most creative thing a woman can do. Christie's a frustrated artist, she calls herself. So she always wakes up with a desire to create something. And not every day, she can't. But she says when she's pregnant, I am creating. No matter what else I do that day, I am creating. She's full of fucking sunshine. So Christie is just a natural mom. Like, she's somebody who's going to get down on the floor and play with the kids. Another thing Christie does, which I find just remarkable, Billy doesn't really like to be photographed, and he's got this new album coming out. He's like, I need cover art. I don't want to do another picture. And Christie, woman of magic's like, hold on, I'll be right back. So she goes into her art studio and does the very first oil painting she's ever done and emerges with the cover of the River of Dreams album. It's amazing. And he's like, I didn't know you could do that. Like, whoa.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what she went to Paris for in 1972 is that, right? Like, her life took a weird and incredibly lucrative turn, but yeah.
She paints his album cover.
No, I'm looking at River of Dreams. Wow. Mm-hmm. Holy shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Just popped into the studio real quick and whipped that up. Okay.
In oil. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, she's a frustrated artist. Yeah.
She's so cool. So it's all going great. And Christie's like, hey, babe, let's get a home in the Hamptons. I really love it there. And Billy's like, cool. So Billy's going to sell his apartment in New York City. And he's talking to a friend one day about selling his apartment and a house in the Hamptons. And his friend is like,
why not have both?
Why are you selling your apartment? Like, do you have any idea how much money that you've made? Billy's like, no, like, guys do that for me. Well, Billy does a little investigation and finds out that about 90 million of his dollars are missing, thanks to ex-brother-in-law Frank. Billy's overall debt is about 30 million.
Holy shit.
He owes 5.5 million of that to the IRS. Naturally, Billy files suit.
Freaks out,
files suit against Frank.
Yeah.
A judgment is ordered, but it's worthless.
Right.
Because Frank doesn't have any money.
Got the money, yeah.
And Billy's a fighter. Punk-ass street kid. He goes on tour. He goes on a 2-year tour. Gross is $65 million. But that road warrior ring will break down a relationship.
Yeah.
In that 2-year period, it's estimated he's played to about 3.5 million people. But this tour experience, I think, is what drives Christie and Billy apart. The two of them will spend a decade together, almost, or 9 years, 1985 to 1994, before they divorce. But they both have thriving careers. Christie says, like, we both had other stuff going on, and I didn't complain, but the marriage was experiencing a lot of strain, and it was falling apart. Christie says it was definitely worth fighting for, but then it just didn't work out. And they both appear kind of devastated that it didn't work out. But 1994, the couple divorces, but they remain friends and allies.
And co-parents.
And co-parents to this day. Very little trash in her first 2 marriages and divorces.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I gather that maybe Billy was drinking too much at the time and was, feeling some feels.
He does later go into rehab. I kind of kept out of his back half.
Yeah.
Just because that's your part of the story. However...
But I mean, I think, collectively with the I think he was just maybe a little checked out by the end.
Maybe.
For various reasons.
Well, his financial woes are long behind him, and I'll do some follow-up Billy stuff on Trashy Tidbits this week, because he has been married and divorced again and remarried. He's just a fascinating character. I did a fun poll yesterday on the Facebook with everybody's favorite Billy Joel songs, and I think it is a universal acknowledged fact that everybody fucking loves Billy Joel.
I mean, it's hard not. He just makes catchy music.
5 decades of I don't know if he gets enough credit in the singer, composer, songwriter.
Yeah, I don't think
milieu.
Now that you mention it, I don't think he does. But
he's amazing. So there's Christie Brinkley's 2 up, 2 down, first 2 trashy divorces.
Part the A.
Which, again, very few trash cans.
Not particularly trashy. I think we've hit the high water mark, and it's all downhill from here.
I mean, those trash cans are in museums. They're in an art museum and a music museum.
Right.
Beautifully hung.
The Trash Candy Hall of Fame.
That's it. That's it.
All right, well, let's take a break, and then when we come back, there will be trash cans.
Oh, so many. So many. Y'all, life can be hard. Life can be harder when you have to put on a bra. So I'm going to share just a personal testament. I love BetterHelp.com. I use it. I love my therapist. Having an impartial counselor to talk to in that safe and confidential space, I can sleep at night a little better again, which is nice. I love my BetterHelp therapist. BetterHelp connects you with a professional counselor online. You can talk to them over video, over the phone. You can chat, you can text. They will connect you with a therapist in under 24 hours.
On your desktop computer, mobile web, Android and iOS apps, they make it really convenient.
It's so easy.
Yeah, it's frictionless, as they say. It's just never been easier to find a therapist who specializes in the issues that are important to you. This can be, as a Trashy Divorces listener, family conflict. For instance, LGBT matters, stress, depression, trauma, relationships, self-esteem, anxiety. And I think the best thing is, if you're not kind of feeling what's happening with your therapist,
get a new one.
Get a new one. No extra charge.
So y'all, coolest of all, because you listen to us, you can get 10% off your first month by visiting our special URL at betterhelp.com/trashy.
We're so proud of that URL too.
/trashy.
So once you're there, you'll just fill out a quick questionnaire, and BetterHelp will match you with a great counselor. So just visit betterhelp.com/trashy and get 10% off your first month. Go get yourself some self-care.
No bra needed. Therapist in 24 hours. Y'all, it's a solid deal. BetterHelp.com/trashy, y'all. Go to it. So, Stacey, you're bringing the back half.
I got the back.
Christie's trashy. Now they get trashy?
I got the trashy half of the divorces. But before we get into that, we should pause for a moment to note again, her divorce from Billy Joel was apparently remarkably conflict-free, and they really focused on the fact that they had a daughter together and that she was going to be their priority, not whatever disagreements they may have had.
They
right?
seem like they really did divorce well.
Yeah, they really do. And it is all the more remarkable because by the time they were actually divorced, she was already engaged to husband number 3, which in a lot of divorces sends the estranged spouse over the deep end.
Sure, but not Billy Joel.
Not Billy Joel.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and he would have had reason to be mad, as we will see.
Oh my. Talk. Tell me.
All right, so the divorce went okay. In March of 1994, which is about 6 months before the divorce concluded, Christie Brinkley is in Telluride, Colorado.
Like you are.
Like you are. She's
Sure.
apparently a big ski bunny, I guess is what we used to call them back in the day. Wow, that makes me sound so old. She is a ski enthusiast. She is a fan of the powder, and we don't mean it in the normal way we mean it on this podcast.
Yeah, that's the truth. Not the cocaine kind.
Not the cocaine kind.
The snow kind.
The snow kind. Okay, so in her travels out there, she meets this fella named Richard Talbin.
Okay.
He's usually referred to as Ricky Talbin.
Yeah.
In
but not Dick.
publications from that era. I don't know. I think she called him that by the end. Okay.
Huh.
So Ricky had a son from a previous marriage, Wyatt, who at the time was about 8, which is about the same age as Alexa.
Okay,
at the time.
that's nice.
So, yeah. So he had some money at some point in his life for sure. He had a multi-million-dollar estate in Colorado. He was also an experienced pilot who owned and flew a 12-seat airplane and took Christy and Alexa on a multi-day, multi-state little tour in his airplane.
That's just fancy.
Yeah, so they were introduced by mutual friends in March. In April, this is so crazy, there's a thing called heli-skiing where a helicopter will fly you and your friends out to a remote, relatively untouched mountain peak and drop you off on top of it. And then you ski down the entire mountain and then it'll pick you up at the bottom and take you back to the top or take you to another one.
You're kidding.
I'm not. I don't know if this is a thing that still happens, although it's America, probably. There are some dangers with this, as you might expect.
So you said heli-skiing. I thought it was going to go somewhere
heli-skiing.
Heli-ski.
I mean, it's kind of both ways is what this is.
I love it.
All right. So in April 94, she, Ricky, and I guess 4 other friends, I think there were 6 people total, including the pilot on the plane. So some friends, a group of supermodel adjacent, and rich people are in a helicopter.
Enthusiasts.
Powder enthusiasts. I think skiers everywhere are I hate them. I hate them so much. Us for calling them that. Yes.
Sure.
Okay. So
I don't know. Is Ski Bunny better? You decide.
It's not. It is so not. All right. So yeah, in April they're flying into the Colorado backcountry for a ski trip. The helicopter they are on suddenly loses altitude and slams into, I'm guessing, sort of a slopey side of a mountain.
Oh my God.
Where it begins to roll. And as it rolls, it is slowly ejecting the 6 people out of it.
Oh my God.
Anyway, yeah, this thing fell 200 feet straight down and then repeatedly rolled. Ricky suffers 12 broken ribs, a broken collarbone, and a punctured lung.
Oh, Jesus.
Everybody got pretty banged up. That was the worst. Christy fractured her wrist or sprained it really badly. Her wrist was injured, and it was in a cast for a while, so I'm guessing it was a fracture.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, they then proceeded to be stranded at almost 13,000 feet as the weather conditions got worse. When they started the trip at a different peak, not too far away, the winds were really light, and then they kind of gradually picked up to about 20. By the time rescue copters are trying to...
I was about to say, did hella rescue come?
Yeah, 50-mile-an-hour winds.
Holy shit.
Yeah, they kept having to leave and come back. They first came and just dropped blankets and were we're gonna figure this out, and then flew off. It was a mess. It was terrifying. This went on for hours.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, I mean, props to the pilots involved. Even the one who crashed. You can have a good crash or a bad crash, and he had a good crash. So,
hella good.
Yeah. Okay, so this experience, I mean, they literally nearly died on this mountain. And this creates, a sense of
Does it bring them closer together?
It really does.
Yeah.
A very strong bond. And again, they've known each other a month. But he is a strappingly handsome. He was born
loaded,
into money,
handsome, charming. I have my own plane. Like,
confidence
of course,
and charisma. Yes.
On paper, he looks great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in May, Richard proposes. The divorce obviously was not complete yet. That wouldn't be until August. But she's like, yeah, we beat death, you and I.
We should totally get married.
Let's get married. So they do.
Wow.
In December. She got divorced in August.
That's a pretty quick turnaround.
In December in Telluride, Colorado, where they beat death.
No.
Yeah. And at the wedding, they announce that they are expecting a child, and then she opens an envelope that reveals the gender. She didn't know until that point.
Oh my God.
It was a boy.
Just all in one?
All
okay.
in one. It was a big day for her.
Well, that is one way to get your bang
out
of your buck for your party dollars right there.
Okay, so
we got a wedding, we got a gender reveal. Too bad you can't just hustle up the birth and call it all done.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So she told People magazine at the time, every experience in life changes you. After the crash, there was no reason to deny what we felt. Which, that
Aquarius
makes
girl.
Perfect
She's
sense.
Dreamy.
Also, I think we've talked before about, don't make big life decisions right after trauma.
Nope. Nobody, that's not a... Yeah.
Okay, one great thing happened out of what would be a very short marriage, though.
The son.
Jack Paris Brinkley Talbin came into the world in June of 95.
I caught a video of him the other day. He's very handsome.
He's very handsome. Mm-hmm. He's apparently not super into... I think his family would like him to get into acting and modeling, but I don't think that's really where his heart is.
He looked a little bit more reserved than his sisters. I saw an interview with Alexa, Saylor, Christie, and he kind of... Not off to the side, because they were all very close. It was very sweet, but definitely...
Yeah, Christie has said
a little quieter.
He doesn't love having... When you said that Billy Joel doesn't love having his picture taken, neither does Jack.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Captain Jack.
Not anyway. When Jack was all of 7 weeks old, Christie Brinkley grabbed him and left Colorado not for the last time, but she was done with Richard Talbin. That is...
Wow.
Precisely how long that
in and
took.
out in a year.
7 months.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So
what happened?
It appears that what happened is that he kind of misrepresented his finances. He presented himself as Mr. Moneybags, hereditary wealth, blah, 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 ultimate, the world is my oyster.
But the paper wasn't worth what it was printed on.
Apparently, he was sort of known as the playboy who squandered Dad's fortune. He was supposedly an LA real estate developer at this time, but apparently he borrowed $1.5 million from Christie Brinkley with no intention of ever paying it back.
Oh,
and no ability, it turns out, to ever pay it back. So during the course of the divorce, he ended up having to sell this. Let me read you how People covered this. Because again, they covered the wedding and the helicopter crash. They covered all of this because she was a superstar at the time. She was everywhere. So
yeah.
Her life was notable to places like People magazine. So this is what People has to say. What went wrong? They married on a mountaintop in Colorado on a perfect winter day and got to know each other later.
Wow.
Red flag.
Ooh.
There have been widespread reports that Brinkley, 42, bolted because Talbin, 46, wasn't the Mr. Moneybags he first appeared to be. A lawyer for Talbin, whose late father Morris was a real estate magnate in San Diego, vigorously denies his client is financially unstable. This much is certain. Talbin's main source of income is family investments. Some of the family firms filed for bankruptcy in November 94, and Talbin was sued by his sister last January for $300,000.
Oh my God.
In May, he finally agreed to pay an out-of-court settlement. Last week, Talbin, still known to San Diego business people as the Playboy Son, was preparing to sell his $3 million Victorian mansion in Telluride. So,
wow.
That did not go well. And it did not take long for her to suss out that he was... I don't know that he was a con man, but he certainly may have overstated the amount of jeopardy he was in at that point. on purpose or just because he'd never had to deal with consequences. Hard to say, really. Hard to say. Okay, friends say everybody was real surprised she married him. She's a very normal person, and he's so highfalutin. Props for that word. Says a Brinkley acquaintance. One of her pals says, it was a passionate thing, and what she got from it, her son, is an amazing blessing. But of course there's hurt there. How couldn't there be? So apparently Ricky was trying to kind of get her to come back, and anyway,
And she was like, big ol' nope.
Yeah, I don't know the precise, I don't know that she's ever disclosed precisely kind of what went down.
I mean, if you're not feeling it, you're not, don't.
What is specifically known is that in the divorce, she got him to give up his parental rights over Jack, and they've never had a relationship.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which, again, let's go back to how things with Billy Joel ended. She didn't try to go to the mat to keep him away from his daughter. Right, it's very, there was something up,
Something's there. Interesting.
Yeah, so that is husband number 3, Richard Talbin, who, as far as I know, as far as I can tell online, he's still alive. He's around 70 years old. But, there are photos on his social media presences of, him on yachts. But he's one of those, but it's not clear what he does.
He just highfalutes.
Perfect. I guess. I mean, I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, so that lasted 7 months. But
pretty quick. We have just a handful that have gone a year or less.
Yeah. The next one goes longer, but ends way worse.
Way worse.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So in 1995 or early 1996, NBC personality Jill Rappaport reintroduced Christie to a person she had met long before, Peter Halsey Cook. Back in the late 70s, Cook had dabbled in modeling and met Christie for the first time. He's 5 years younger than she is, and both were in other relationships at the time. She was still married to hubby number 1. So if there were sparks back then, they didn't amount to anything. I don't know that there were, but there might have been. Anyway, so fast forward to the mid-90s, and, little Peter the model has turned into a respected architect and a denizen of the Hamptons social set, which Christie Brinkley
has her house there.
Loves the Hamptons. Yeah, that is her place. And in fairness, Peter Cook is a descendant of 3 of the area's founding families, so I think we can stipulate that he probably walked into life pretty loaded. But it seems like he set out on a career path to expand that wealth and make something of himself.
Okay.
And be a guy, be a person.
Highfalutin Hamptons boy.
Highfalutin Hamptons boy. Yeah, so they became engaged in August of 96.
That's really... When did she divorce?
95.
Okay, so an appropriate time.
She doesn't wait. So they become engaged in August 96, and the next month they marry in Bridgehampton. She is quick. She's quick.
Wow.
I feel like one takeaway from this story is to slow down, Christie Brinkley. You don't have to marry everyone you meet. But it's like the window is open girl in How I Met Your Mother, right?
The window is open.
Yeah, she is. She no longer does this, but she really was just like, nah, I'm all in. Let's go. She's learned her lesson, I think. Okay, so at the time, she was super elated, though, and she told probably People magazine, I finally have what I always wanted, a husband who is so involved in the family, who cares about it with every ounce of his being, who is there for us.
It's every time it's finally.
Yeah, yeah.
God bless her little sunshine self.
Sunshine beam, yeah. Okay, so 98, though, the couple has a daughter, Sailor Lee Brinkley Cook, and Peter adopted Jack, who,
Oh, fantastic.
Things were going swimmingly in the Brinkley Cook home until June of 06. Okay, so that was when Christie agreed to give the commencement address at the local high school graduation there in the Hamptons.
Oh, well, that's nice.
And afterwards, a policeman walks up to her and says, that husband of yours won't knock it off. And she's like, sorry, what?
Excuse me?
And he said, he's having an affair with my teenage daughter, and that bastard won't knock it off, and I have to come to you.
What?
Yeah. Okay, so I will say that there was a big tabloid scandal, and the name of the teenage mistress was all over, and if you are so inclined, you can go track that down through the Google pretty easily. But I think we've kind of decided that if people have not continued being public people, we're going to not go
For
out
sure.
of our way. So I'm not going to name her, but again, Google's your friend if it's really not important and she is not a public person and like whatever. Okay, so the teenage daughter had been 18 when this is so,
Oh my
this is so the
God.
worst. She had been 18 when Peter met her in a Hamptons toy store.
No.
Pro tip,
No.
do not go trawling for mistresses in toy stores.
Oh my God.
After meeting her, he hired her as an assistant at his architectural firm, and their affair lasted for about a year, starting in 05. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Poor Christie Brinkley.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay, so once that news broke, there were other women who came forward with some fun stories about old Peter Cook. There was Samantha Cole, who claims to have dated Peter back in 1996, when she was 19. She said that he had asked her to marry him that summer, but she turned him down and dumped him, and a month later, he was engaged to Christie Brinkley, which means he was probably cheating on Christie Brinkley during their relationship. So here's what she said after the broader scandal broke. Quote, "I was pretty upset about it, pretty angry. I was the last person he was with before Christie. I thought that she was too old for him. I said to him, 'You've always dated younger girls.' This will continue to be a thing."
Oh.
So if an affair with an 18-year-old was not enough, it came out during the 2-year-long divorce that culminated in a pretty trashy divorce trial there in the Hamptons, that Peter had paid his teenage mistress $300,000 in hush money.
Excuse me?
And it didn't even work because she testified at the trial.
Oh my God.
And that he was also running up massive bills for internet porn as high as $3,000 a month.
Porn is free.
A month.
What's wrong with you?
He's got to have a very specific kink or taste or flavor or...
That is $36,000 a year on porn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that seems high.
Rich people problems.
Yeah, right. Okay. Also, I don't think he was bragging about this on the stand, but he was sort of forced by oaths and such to testify that one of the things he liked to do on the internet was to share images of himself pleasuring himself with swinger websites. So that's cool. That's cool. And then Alexa Ray, Christie's daughter with Billy Joel, testified that Peter had always been a jerk to her and specifically recounted a time that he had become so angry with her that he dunked her head into a bucket of water, an incident that Peter says never happened. So,
Christie, go. Go.
Mm-hmm. A court-appointed psychologist said that Peter was, quote, an insatiable narcissist, unquote. And, the matter was ugly and public, which, hey, that is exactly what we look for in this podcast. So at the conclusion of the divorce, he walked away with a $2.1 million cash settlement, most of which was destined to land in his lawyer's pockets. In exchange, he gave up rights to 18 properties that Christie had purchased during their decade of marriage, and she won sole custody and decision-making rights for Jack and Sailor.
Good for her.
There was a pre-existing visitation schedule that was every other weekend and one weeknight with extra time in the summer. I don't get the feeling that the kids are super hot on Dad, though. Okay, so the divorce became final in late 2008, and, both of them claimed victory, but it was pretty clear that Christie Brinkley won this divorce.
For sure.
All right, so as for Peter Cook, by the time the divorce trial kicked off in June 2008, he had already moved on with the woman who had become his next wife.
Oh, goody.
That marriage ended with Peter caught cheating as well, and in 2014, Suzanne Shaw, the second wife, publicly apologized to Christie for having badmouthed her in the past. Quote, "Christie was wrongly vilified as being an embittered ex-wife. I now believe she had every right to do what she did by taking a public stand. She was only trying to protect her children and have the truth be told. Given the nature of Peter's behavior and battles for sole custody of their children, it was necessary for her to confront him publicly."
Good for her. And good for that's girl power.
Yeah.
Sticking together.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you go search Peter Cook on page 6, you will find story after story about him dating, taking pictures of, or generally being like a creepy older guy around very young women. He's 60.
What's he doing now?
In September of this year, the year of our Lord 2019.
2 months ago.
2 months ago.
Okay, 3 months ago.
Peter, age 60, as noted, took a 20 or 21-year-old, reports differ, and at page 6 is certain she's 20, to Greece.
Oh, my God.
Where they became engaged. Congratulations, hooray, this is definitely going to work out for you. Okay. He announced this publicly at the end of October, 1 week after his daughter, Sailor, who is older than his fiancée, was eliminated from Dancing with the Stars, where I think she was filling in for her mother, who got hurt right before the taping was supposed to start.
Oh, my God.
Something along those lines. Like,
I think Christie Brinkley broke her arm or something.
Something like that, yeah. All right, so that is the utter trash baggery that is Peter Cook.
Ugh.
As things stand today, Christie Brinkley has not walked down the aisle for a 5th time, although tongues wagged when she dated John Mellencamp for a year in 2015
yeah, I forgot about that.
And 2016. Yeah, I guess he was on a break. He's been with Meg Ryan for
forever.
A long
Yeah,
time.
for a long
since
time.
like 2011 or something. But yeah, they were off for a while, and John Mellencamp. Okay, so basically, Christie Brinkley seems like someone who has been a really great mom and raised really fulfilled kids. But aside from Billy Joel, her marriages have ended in really damaging heartbreak for everyone. And I guess maybe husband number 1 too, but we don't really...
Yeah, that's very
he's
undercover.
Not super remembered, yeah. So as trash cans go, I think Richard Talbin gets a solid 3.
Okay.
He was like a dandy cad who nearly died in a helicopter crash, and you can see how things got mixed up between them.
Hella-falutin'.
Peter Cook, I think, gets what must be his very favorite number, as well as his preferred age for romantic partners, 18 trash cans. Set them on fire like your relationship with your daughter.
Perfect.
So my question here is, does Christie Brinkley get halos?
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of think so too.
All of them.
Yeah.
Sunbeams, halos, unicorns.
Okay.
Narwhals.
I'm fine with that.
I don't know. Whatever she wants.
Yeah.
She can have.
Yeah.
She really is just genuinely delightful.
Yeah, no, I love that she and Billy Joel remain really good friends all these decades later. Like, it's just, that is what you want to see when people split up but have kids.
For sure.
Yeah.
She's a model of that. Seems like her dedication is pretty...
She's a supermodel of that, I think you mean.
I can't do any better than that. Thanks, everybody, so much for tuning in. We've got some hot, fresh drops coming on Patreon for you this week. I'm going back into the land of conspiracy. Stacey, you're not even ready.
Probably not.
Trashy or Tutors this week. We're doing the Shakespeare authorship controversy.
Oh my God, this is one of your bugaboos.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
and we're going to talk about some possibilities of Shakespeare authorship. I'm really lit about it. You've got Side Piece coming up this week. Trashy Tidbits on Thursday. We'll pick up a lot of stuff on Billy Joel that just wasn't in the Christie Brinkley arc, as well as all the other hot news from the week.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, and please enjoy your Thanksgiving leftovers.
Hopefully, people are sick of eating leftovers by now. It's Sunday, babe.
Just throw them in a soup pot. Put it on low.
How many sandwiches can you eat?
Check on it tomorrow.
Y'all are the very best. Thank you so much for tuning in for yet another episode of Trash Candy. We'll be back next week.
It's like stealing trash candy from a baby.
Keep it trashy, y'all.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening. Trashy Divorces is written and produced by us, Stacey and Alicia, for Hemlock Creatives. You can contact us at trashydivorces@gmail.com.
Our art is by Sydney V. Smith. Find her at sydneyvsmith@carbonmade.com.
And our music is used with permission of Ratsy. You can find her on Instagram at Ratsy's Store.
Check out episode sources, photos, soundtracks, and more at trashydivorces.com.
Enjoy early ad-free releases, bonus divorce stories, weekly trashy tidbits, limited series like Trashy Tutors, Fun with Dunn, and Side Pieces, and a whole lot more by joining us at patreon.com/trashydivorces. We have finally curated trash candy for you at the $2, $5, $10, and $25 level.
And we have merchandise. You can get your Trashy Divorces gear at bit.ly/trashymerch. And thank you to What a Maneuver for doing such a great job with our cloths.
We appreciate all your ratings and reviews. If you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, send us a picture of it and we'll ship you some Trashy Divorces stickers and such anywhere in the world.
Don't feel left out because you're in the Netherlands, Brazil, Singapore, Tanzania, Iceland, or any of the other 154 countries and counting where people are listening. That is trashydivorces@gmail.com.
And last but not least, come play with us on social. We're at Trashy Divorces everywhere. Instagram, you can find us, which Alicia mostly runs. Twitter, which Stacy mostly runs. And on Facebook, which
we split.
We also have a Trashy Divorces discussion group on Facebook if you want to chat with other Trashy Divorces listeners.
Thanks again for listening.
Keep it trashy, y'all.